What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Heru the Guru, and this is the term nigger, nigga. A lot of people think it's a bad term and where it comes from, but nga been used, and I believe that sound and that pronunciation was passed on to the Spaniards, and they made a variation of that sound into Negro and Negri and Idaho. Note on the term nga, nga, nig, nger, ngan, nga, nga, nger is not nigger. Part 1. The origin of the term God. Note on the term nga, nger, or nga, nga, nehesu, negus, koso. Negus is not nigga. Ra'aka, nanga, naga. Naga is not nigga. Written by Adwi Rafo Kwesi Ra Nehim Pata Akan Anidaho. This is a great deal of misinformation being propagated in the Afro-Kanit, or African black community regarding the etymological origins of the terms nigger, nigga, naga, negus, and God. There are individuals in the Afro-Kanit and Afro-Kanit or African community who propagate this information out of ignorance, attempting to conflate the derogatory term nigger and its variation nigga with ancient terms from Kamit, Harappa, ancient Black India, and Ethiopia. Note on the term nga, or nga is not nigger. Part 1. adwirafo.com. Note on the term, same again, neg in the hieroglyphic is to crackle. Neg, to crackle, to quack. Negaga, to cackle, to quack. Nega, tackler. Neger, the goddess or the goose goddess who laid the sun egg. Neg-neg-er. Nagaga-er. Variations of it. The terms nga, 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 and so on have been promoted as the etymological origin of the word nigger, and thus associated with the false notion that nigger actually means God. This false conception can be clarified when we look at another common form of the term nga, nga. The goose god who laid the cosmic egg. Here we do show on some of the ancient hieroglyphic texts, ngar, negar, and gengener, same meaning, the goose god who laid the cosmic egg. Gaga, great cackler, a title of Geb. As we can see, Inger and the Gaga are identical to Gun. This is because the term is actually pronounced Nganga, Nganga, Ganga, or Ganga, and Nganga are the same term. The is a descriptive title meaning the great. And we have some of the translation. Great, much superior, very greatness, great size, dual. Great woman, great thing, great elders, plural. Neg, to cackle, neg, to cackle, to cack. Nga. Nga means to cackle or to quack. It is also a title meaning cackler, Nga or Nga. Means the great cackler. So Nger is the great cackler. In the cosmology of Kamit or Ta'apet Thebes, it is revealed that the great divine Nganga cackler goose in the form of the great Toro Amen cackles at the beginning of creation and causes the primordial waters of Nun and Nonet to begin to vibrate. The primordial waters of Nun and Nunet within the great black substance of space, Ka, and Kaket or Kayet, ultimately give birth to Ra and Raet, the creator and creatress, who manifests as fire and light piercing through the blackness and eventually manifesting through the Atan, sun. What is key here is that the cacking, or production of sound, waves, vibration, power set in motion, movement, transmission of energy within Nun and Nunet, the energetic substratum from which Ra and Raet, the creator and creatress, and ultimately all created entities would emerge. This notion and the terminology referencing it continue to be used by Africans today. The Bakongo people are an example. In the Kikongo language, the term Nganga means a master, referencing a healer from self-healing power therapy. By K. Kia Bonseki Fuqua, pages 18 through 19, where I sourced that. And we're going to say Ganga to be initiated is to join the circle of Nganga masters and become oneself Nganga a doer. Nganga of the archaic verbal root Ganga, of which the modern form is Vanga, to do, to make, to act, to realize, is a Mbangi, an individual of these. Mavanga, it is earned by merit by enduring process of initiation. Kukanga, at the initiation institution site. Through Kukanga or Congo, one learns to discover one's own sun or package of life, its power and radiations. The genetically, spiritually, and physically inherited strength of self-healing power. Once at the Kukanga or Congo, the candidate must learn to speak the language of Kinganga, a specialized language. Without knowledge of this, because the language spoken by initiated masters, one may find it hard to digest the sophisticated knowledge taught in these institutions. Because of the lack of printed material, teaching constituted passing down of key principles of life through bikumu, repeated mottos, ngana, proverbs. Emphasis hours note the connection between the Kikongo, Nganga, and Ganga. This is found in ancient Kamit and Nganga and Gangan. The Nganga is typically recognized in ritual context to be a healer, medicine person, one who can call on the spirits of the deities, divine forces in creation. The Nganga's ritual efficacy is dependent most often upon the Nganga's ability to make proper ritual, invocations, prayers, chanting. This is true of African traditional healers, healerists in general. Proper, effective invocatory chanting moves the energy of the forces in creation and opens the way for transformation to occur. Indeed, the word chant has etymological origins in Khan and the Khan of ancient Kamit, pronounced with the nasal ah to speak, and Kanka to pray in twine language of Akon, to cry out or beg. Moreover, the sacred proverbial wisdom of the Bakongo Ngana mentioned in the quote above are an archive of the key principle of life, hence the term Gan, meaning archive in Kamit. Is the translation of the text that shows that information. It should also be noted that Amen takes the form of a divine goose and cackles amidst the sacred sound vibrations at the onset of creation. Technically, Amen takes the form of the Gander, male goose, while the great Ntorot Aminet takes the form of goose, as gan. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Interesting. It is Aminet as the female goose who lays the cosmic egg from which Ra and Ra'et will be born. Amen and Aminet function together as one divine unit, the supreme being. As Nganga or Gangan or Ngaga Amen takes the form of a gander in order to cackle, quack, as opposed to a serpent. The Naga serpent of the Tamil speaking Africans of ancient India are actually the Ra'ak or Ra'aka serpents. The rolling R and the N interchange linguistically. Ra and Ra'et are subordinate to Amin and Aminet. See our Inyakalpon and Inyakanton Ra and Ra'et articles. There's the link. Copy and paste that. Nganga as we can seek the cosmological and etymological root of the term Nganga or Nga or Nga or Gan. Nger is not nigger. The term nigger is said to be derived through negro from the Proto-Indo-European root nequit or neck, referencing dead, dark, night, etc. Actually has its origins in the terms neck, necker, naka, neck, and related terms in kamit. Here's the etymological negro. Mirror the black skinned race of Africans from Spanish, Portuguese, Negro, black from Latin, negri, black, dark, fatal, dusky, fiery, gloomy, unlucky, bad, wicked, of unknown origin, as an adjective used with capital became general early, blah, 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 blah. And in the Old English, West Saxon, night, darkness, the vowel indicating that the modern word derives from oblique cases. Necro before vowel necker, or forming elevating death, corpse, dead tissue from coma. Form of Greek necros, dead body, corpse, dead person. Pie neck, death, natural death. Sanskrit, nasayati, disappears, perishes. So there are various forms of necker, and here's the ancient hieroglyph necker. Dust powder, what is sifted into metronic stele, to be afflicted, to mourn, to grief, to lament, nekmu, nekum, nekeb, still to be mourned, to be afflicted, nekka, to rub down, to grind, grain, to polish, other meaning neck, to smite, to attack, to injure, outrage, crime, murder. Naked, pieces cut off, slashing, hacking, peasant, transgressions, injury, outrage, some wanted act, crime. So those are the variations of the word, and the meaning are all kind of similar actions. These terms are related to the dead body, corpse, death, and treatment of the body in a negative fashion. The terms Negro and Necro is addressed in part 2. Written by Aduwafo Kwesi Ra Nahim Ptah, the year 13,013. It is now the year 13,024. You can go to his site at www.aduwafo.com. Go to his firstname.com and get all of ancient Kemet teachings. The origin of the term God, Nger, or it is not nigga, part 2. Origin of the term God. Here's a hieroglyph. Note on the term Nger or Ngun. That's hard to say, I must admit. There's his website, iduwafo.com. In part 1, I note on the origin of the term nigger. And there we go, some more forms. Nigger, goddess who laid the said son. We talked about that. We also told you that the proper pronunciation for Nganga is Ngaga. Nganga. Like Nga. Nga. I can understand how Nga is nigga. I can understand that. Sound version. The A in Ga is nasal, and this is why the term was written Ga or Gan, the metu or hieroglyph for the letter is this wavy sound. The wavy, watery energy metu represented the nasal pronunciation. The term Ga pronounced with the nasal A thus sounds like Gan. So I could see how the letter and this wavy sound is but they just made it one wave. So this is evidence that even this Algonquin or English or Latin script is of kemit. God, to cackle, to crack. God, to cry of a bird, to cackle. Notice that the term is actually spelled Ngaga, or Nga. The Egyptologists inserted an E because of the uncertainty of how the term was pronounced. As we stated in the part word of the series, Nga means to cackle or to quack. It is also a title meaning cackler. Nga or Nga means the great crackler. Is the great. Remember in the Bible, I think Cain and Abel, when Cain slew Abel, he got put an M on his head and got banned to the land of And we talked about already. In cosmology, kamit Taipet is referred the great divine Nganga. We already wrote that part. From Latin Papyrus 350, chapter 100, another source. The one who initially existed on the first occasion, Amen, who developed in the beginning, whose origin is unknown. No deity came into being prior to him. No deity was with him who could say what he looked like. He had no mother who created his name. He had no father to beget him or to say, this belongs to me. He who formed his own head, power or secret birth, who created his own beauty. Amenet and Amen, Gagat and Gagait, Urit and Gangar, Ngagar, Urit and Ngangar. Amen and Amenet are the great father and great mother, whom together comprise the supreme being. When Amen and Amenet begin to act of Gaga or Gangan, cackling, honking, that primarily the waters of the black sector of space, the unformed matter began to vibrate. A separation took place as the divine egg was formed within the great divine goose, Amenet. She laid the divine egg from which emerged the Atan, sun, through which Ra and Ra'et, the creator and creatress, were born and emerged. Ra and Ra'et are the creator and creatress, the first fire and light to pierce the primordial darkness at the beginning of creation, separating dark from light and eventually morning from night. Sacred goose and gander, Amen and Amenet. The word goose is a direct descendant of Proto-Indo-European root gans in Germanic languages. The root gave Old English gos, with the plural ges and gandres, becoming modern English goose and geese and gander respectively. New High German gans and ganzi and ganter, and Old Norse gas. This term also gave Lithuanian zasis, Irish ges, goose, from the Old Irish geis, Latin answer, Greek. I can't say that. Albanian gate, Heron, Sanskrit Hamsi, Finnish Hanhi, Avestan, Zao, Polish gas, Russian Czech Husan, Persian Gaz. We keep all the words for goose. Note the etymological origin of the term goose is falsely posited by the whites and their offspring to be derived from the Proto-Indo-European root gans. Of course, the true origin is gan, the cackler, from ancient kamit and kanet, amin, aminet, gagit, and gangar in the primordial waters before creation. Observe the action of the geese when they reach maturity, about 3 years old. The male tends to be more dominant and aggressive than the female, especially in mating season. The male is more protective of the nesting area as well. Listen to the sounds of the geese. The male goose lets out a high-pitched honking sound to attract the female when they are ready to mate, while a female lets out a low-toned quack when she is ready to mate. The cackling, honking, or cackling, the gaga, gangan is related to mating. When Amin and Amin as Gaga and Gaga were ready to mate in order to create the universe, Amin, the great lamb, began to God, cackle, honk, cry out of Aminet. Gaga responded to sound various called the waters of the moon within the great mother Aminet, the barbarous noon. And these dark waters are of the black substance of space called dark energy and dark matter, which makes up over 90% of the universe, 99% of the universe. Aminet then produced a divine egg out of which the Aten sun would emerge. Gaga, 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 the great cackler. God who presided over offerings. Gan, the root of Gangan is God and Guy as the great cackler. Gangan Amin invokes, calls from within his own creative power. Chanting, cackling is the original invocation. That's it. The term Ga also means Ga'ua, means to sing, to praise. The Gangar means to sing. This praise, song, and ritual invocation, the determinative metu of the man raising his hand in the air, is an act of ritually provoking energy of the deity, in this instance via ritual, song, sound vibration. This metu is the determinative metu for word describing prayer, praise, ritual practice. Note that the term Gangar is written in Coptic late commented dilated as kun or gun. This is why in the Akan language the term ka or kankai, that a being nasal in both, meaning to emit a sound, to speak and to pray, to invoke a deity, to sing a musical instrument. Or to sing, to praise. Gangar, to sing. The term God, meaning to cry out, again has the variation gan or gun, or again meaning to cry out, beseech, petition, while the ganu, bird, goose, is a variation of gan or gun, to cry, of a bird to cackle, to cry out, to beg, petitioner. Moreover, the same terms God and gnu also reference pots, vessels, and pourings. The related term gosh, meaning to spill, to pour out, to sprinkle, or pouring out, inundation, is the origin of the English term gush, meaning to pour out, inundate, etc. However, the root is guy. Notice the two lips of guy, vessel, with the way the line for water energy being produced out, function as a determinative metu hieroglyph for gas and guy. Gas, to spill, to pour out, to sprinkle, to be dew or pouring out, inundation. The two lips of the vessel, guy and gun, releasing water energy as guy, are related to the two lips, releasing the implication, ga or gan, when crying out, petitioning, and with regard to aminet and amen, cackling, ga or gan. The wavy, watery energy pouring out from the lips is related to the energy activated in the waters of the blackness of space, the waters of noon and noonet, when they are stimulated by the gaga or gangan, cackling of aminet and amen, and the onset of creation. The invocation aminet and amen is a release of energy, a pouring out of energy necessary for the birthing of the universe. This is why Aminet and Amen as Gun Gan and Gun are referred to also as the god and goddess of offering.